I was super competitive. I had no choice but to play sports. My parents always made me play sports. I was really into football. I was three sport athlete in high school, so track, wrestling, football. I kind of had a natural talent to anything I really did, but I always worked really hard. So it was kind of a little bit of mix of both. During the off season of football, I wanted to do a contact sport. So I got kind of sick of basketball and missing all the contact, this and that. So then I picked up wrestling. And then I liked wrestling, but then during the spring, I still wanted to do the contact and stuff. So I picked up kickboxing, and that's where everything kind of came together. And then I joined Lauzon's. When I wrestled my first wrestling match, it was like my reaction was like I can go 100% against this guy. I can try to do everything I can to this guy to have someone stop it. It was like a really weird thing during sparring and stuff. I had my first boxing class when I was in the sixth grade. After about a month, they let me spar. I got punched in the face once, and I was like, dude, fuck this. I am not getting punched in the face again. I stopped until I started doing kickboxing. But there was never, I don't know what it is. I don't look at it like beating someone up or getting beat up. I look more at it like any other sport, like soccer, you're trying to score a goal. In fighting, you're trying to hit the other guy. There's no intent. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I hope they're not trying to hurt me either. It's just shit happens. That you're in the game that this is gonna happen. My kickboxing coach and my wrestling coach always said I had this weird potential, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're just gassing it up. But then as I started doing like sparring, I was like, oh, maybe I'm okay at this. Maybe I'm okay with this. When I was 16, 17 years old and I was training there, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to turn 18. Can't wait to turn 18 and fight. I love to do this. It's going to be so cool, so cool. My 18th birthday came and everything. I just turned into the biggest bitch. I'm like, dude, I'm not fighting. I don't know, maybe I was talking it up and I let it get to my head, this, that, the other thing. But I don't know. And then the switch flicked and I was like, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. So I mean, you get the work ethic from wrestling for sure, all the hard practice and stuff like that. But you never really, like I said, I was always one of the better ones in the wrestling room. This, that, the other thing. But when you go to an MMA gym where there's elite athletes and UFC fighters, you kind of get a reality check, and maybe you're not the best one around anymore. That's for sure. I don't know, but you definitely, I don't know. I felt like I matured like super fast right away. As soon as I stepped in there, I'm like, holy shit, I'm not the best anymore. I need to practice hard. So they gave me an option. I could take the fight on 2 weeks' notice. I was like, I'll think about it. On my way home, I thought about it. I had kind of an epiphany. I'm like, I'm gonna regret not doing this one day, but there'll never be a day that I regret doing this. The worst that's gonna happen is maybe I'll get a concussion and hurt myself. That's it. But I'm gonna heal in a couple of weeks. I'll be good. There was as soon as I took the fight, there was zero nerves. It was like, okay, it's happening, and I think it was partially due to the fact that I only had 2 weeks, so I had really had no time to think about it. It was just going through the motions and getting it done and doing the thing. And then the most nervous I was ever was at the weigh-ins and like standing face to face with my opponent. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking scary. This dude's gonna punch me out of me. I don't want any beef. I'm just trying to have a sport. This, that, the other thing. But on fight day, after the weigh-in, and on fight day, I was whatever, no nerves at all. I like took like a 25-minute nap during the day. I'm just completely okay and content with the fact that I'm going to go into the fight. And I think, like I said, partially due to the fact that I had zero time to think about it. At the venue, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, but as soon as I'm on deck, I'm like, holy shit, it's time to go. No more time to think about it, just time to perform. Walking out, crazy experience I've ever encountered in my whole life. Step into the cage, them announcing my name with a spotlight on me. I'm like, dude, holy fuck, this is just too surreal. And then right away, fight starts. Right away, fight's over. And I'm just like, holy shit, I'm so happy I did that. So happy I did that. When can I go again? Everyone has their own rhyme and reason. And of course, everyone would like to be a champion, this and that. But realistically, I mean, I don't ever think I'll be a UFC champion. Maybe I'll get in the UFC one day. But I don't know. I think the main reason I'm doing it is because it's different. No one else is like, it takes balls to get in there. Everyone can go on a football field and have a football game. So I think maybe that's a little bit to do with it, but I also think I want to make a name for myself. And I don't know, I'm not going to get to the NFL. It's pretty clear I'm not going to get to the NFL at this point. I'm not going to get in the MLB. I'm not going to do this, but there's a chance that I make a name out of myself, make it to the big fight show. And I think that's the main reason, just to make a name for myself, do something a little different than everyone. I don't know, you see football and you want to see big hits in football, but accepted in society because it's a team sport and it's been around for so long. And that's the big confusion with MMA. Yeah, we want to like knock each other out, if you will, but there's never anything personal. I mean, I'm gonna shake his hand before, I'm gonna shake his hand after. We're playing a sport, and they want to score touchdowns in their football. We want to score knockouts or nothing, but it's nothing personal. Like we don't want any fights outside. We just want to fight in the cage, and that's I don't know. Well, it's funny. The first time I've ever been knocked out was actually 2 days ago. So I'm currently concussed. I'm not worried about it at all because I think once you get to the point where if the wind's gonna blow by and you're gonna get knocked out, it's probably time to hang up the gloves. And when you're a part of like such a good gym and smart, educated people, they'll kind of tell you and hint at you like, hey, maybe you should stay away for this amount of time. Maybe you shouldn't fight again. And be like, okay, like yeah, I understand, but you should know for yourself if you don't want to be eaten out of a straw when you're 35 years old, then you should probably not get knocked out every week. I'd like to fight as much as I can, but I'm also very how do I say? I'm aware of my safety and what I physically can do to not, push myself too much, not get hurt. In this year, so April was my first fight, and so within the year, next April, I'll probably have 5 fights. That's because everything's going my way so far. But if I'm fighting those first 2 fights and I get knocked out both times, I'm gonna take 8 months off. I'm not gonna fight. I'll be training, but I'm not gonna fight and do that to myself again. So I'm gonna be very smart about it. But I'd like to stay relatively active, but that also is medically, it depends on how I'm doing. So that I went through like my last 2 years of high school with these guys. These guys are literally my family now. And what helps a lot, like with your attitude and stuff, is that I don't train at a gym with a bunch of scumbags. Therefore, I'm not walking around like a scumbag. I'm training with dudes who have college educations, who had real jobs, and who had to work for what they get. So they're not walking around with their chins in the air. Like I'm just following them now. I'm a humble guy. I'm gonna go to college like they did. I'm gonna try to get a regular job, and I'm also gonna try to, fight along the way and try to get to the big show like they did. And well, not to be like cliche or anything to that nature, but I think Lauzon's a great role model. I mean, he worked his ass off all through. He's not the most athletic person in the gym for sure, and he'll be the first one to admit that, but he works hard. And I think that's the big thing. He went through college. He busted ass through college, graduated from a great school, got a bachelor's degree, had a real, like a big boy job, and then decided to pursue fighting throughout college. And I think that's a good thing. He has a kid now. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. That's a great thing to look up to, rather than looking up to someone who has a shitty job but is drowning themselves in a bottle every weekend. I mean, that's cool and stuff. That you can't do that forever. I think Joe is a great person to look up to, and no doubt about it. There were people that weren't able to fight that have helped me along the way, so I feel like I'm almost obligated to help other people who are trying to fulfill their dreams, other kids, this, that, the other thing. And it's not because I have to or I am obligated. It's because I like to be around it. Just like I'm always going to be around football.